What's the deal with this negative armor and resistant bug fix? Summoner Showdown America's semi-final is done and dusted, and is the voting being swayed by this kabam tweet? Yes, hello everybody, welcome back to the Dollary Doo-Doo Spending Day. America, I really like your money, featuring the guy from the play where he always wants his shot, some bloke called Jackson, and he kind of looks like Michael Jackson, and Brian Grant. This must be before he lost all his hair in that terrible boating accident. I mean, we can hardly talk in the UK, we got bloke like this. That makes for a fun note, doesn't it? In any case, currency chatter aside, we've got a load of stories to go over, from little things over on Twitter, right the way over on the forums, and as well, that's on the YouTube spacey realmy thing. There's also going to be a lot of announcements for next month's event, so make sure to keep post notifications on all, make sure you're subbed, make sure you come back to the channel because we've got lots of things to go over on Spending Dollary Doo-Doo Cyber Weekend Day. Woo! And just before we get into all that news, a massive thank you to my current patrons and YouTube members. Thank you very much for supporting and being here and doing the ting. It's very kind of you to do that and helping through these tough times. And also a massive thank you to those that support over on Twitch, those that do Prime Gaming subs or Twitch Prime subs, and those that do the Tier 1 subs. Thank you so much to everybody that considers giving me their free sub and also doing the Tier 1 sub a month. It does mean a lot to the channel to keep it going, as I said, through these hard times. But there are good times that are going to be coming in the future. Thank you so much. Also, if you're thinking about picking up a gift for your loved one, especially one that is a superhero fan, then please consider picking up this. This is a novel by Ryan Schwab-Sigoria. He is a member of this community, and as well, the book here, The Stolen Child, which is part of the Elite series, is an amazing book, and I really recommend picking it up. I've been reading through it over the last 2 weeks, and it is an incredibly impressive read. It is so well written, and it's so fun. If you are a fan of the X-Men and Fantastic Four, you'll resonate a lot with the cosmic interference of the acquisition of powers, and as well the mutant side of things when it comes to the government's suppression of those with mutations, and whether or not fear governs the way that they are treated. Also, for those that are fans of The Punisher, will really like the gritty and as well dark dealing with certain situations. So if you're looking for a Christmas present for somebody who's a massive superhero fan or just interested in a really good book, then go and check out the Elite series, the first book, The Stolen Child. The link in the description will take you to Waldorf Publishing, where the book is being distributed by. So yeah, it's a great idea for a present. If you want to get it for a superhero fan, then go and get it. I really recommend it. Shout out to Ryan, and as well, if you don't know, he is a member of the community for years. He's been working on that. He goes under the name of Stevie Man Wonder here on the forum, so we do actually have him kind of in the scroll when I'm doing some of these videos. In any case, let's do the news, and we will do in a few more videos this week, a little kind of promo about that particular book. So yeah, shout out to Ryan, and go pick it up. Links in the description. So first story up is missing boss pictures, something that's just, this is an ongoing annoyance, especially when I go into Act 6 and just see these placeholders going there. It's not like a huge issue, it's just annoying to, so I think a lot of the times you kind of resonate with the different characters associated as the boss against these things. Like I go, okay, so Overhang in 6.3.2 is Nick Fury, 6.3.1 is Medusa. So it's all about resonating with the stuff, and I can then go back and kind of prepare adequately. But yeah, so it is what it is, I guess. But here's the thing. It's not being looked at. You know, so Kabam's latest update on this November 25th was, hi folks, thanks for pointing this out. We are aware of the issue and working on it. Apologies for the delay. As always, we thank you for your patience and cooperation. So there's no real update of what's going on there. So that's kind of annoying. Bit of a light start to the news today. Let's move on to the next story. And that is negative armor and resistances. Now, this is something that I don't know if it's going to confuse players or not. But here's the thing, if you're worried about any kind of massive changes happening and you kind of go, oh, it's a nerf this and it's not good that, do bear in mind when any of the CCP members like myself or anyone else produces videos, so it has that content creator beta in the top left hand corner, it does mean that all of the footage that we've created over the last few months has been created with this change already in mind. So if you saw something any untoward in those videos, then I'm sure you would have mentioned it. And the same thing with ourselves. If we felt anything remotely different, then of course we would have mentioned it as well. But everything seems fine when we've been producing those videos and that gameplay. The lay of the land of things is this here. So this fix will only affect damage numbers when a champion receives damage while they have negative armor. For example, if they're suffering from armor break, they have positive or negative resistance. No other fights should be affected. This whole situation can be broken down like this. So while armor is negative, positive resistance has less of an effect than before. Put different way, characters with positive resistance will take more damage than before this change while their armor is negative. This affects champions like Hulk and Hyperion who have high resistance stats. And then we've got while armor is negative, negative resistance has less of an effect than before. Put differently, characters with negative resistance will take less damage now than before this change while armor is negative. This one could make some defenders tankier than before in some situations. This affects champions like Symbiote Supreme and Venom the Duck. Previously, while armor was negative, the calculations for crit penetration and armor resistant penetration was being skipped entirely. Now crits check damage reduction as a whole rather than two separate components, armor and resistance. So as long as the total is positive, crit penetration will apply. This is the Corvus physical resistance bug that we had to put on the back burner for so long. I think one of these things is all about seeing to believing, and even though this seems to be very much positive to the player, I think we'll need to see this released into game, and especially from a live server perspective. And maybe it would be of a value for somebody to take a log of the numbers, maybe crit damage numbers, as well as like say how the champions are feeling once this fix goes live next week. And I assume this will come in line next week with the update. I don't think it really says, but let's just assume that it is coming in line, or maybe it has gone live. So yeah, we'll need a little bit of, I think the players will need to see it to believe it, but it does seem like it's more positive to the player, which is a good thing. Next up, and let's talk about the Summoner Showdown, the semi-finals, the Americas. I literally have no idea what Blade's looking at. Probably the floor, probably a penny. Oh, a penny. Now, fortunately and unfortunately, from a fortunate standpoint, it was a pretty fun event that was laid on. I gotta be honest, at times I did find that it just kind of dragged on a little bit, but unfortunately and fortunately, there's a lot of strategy that was largely involved with the creation of this piece. A lot of time and effort went into creating this, and because this wasn't actually done live, this is done pre-recorded because it's very difficult to do it live, a lot of effort had to go into the editing side of things. So a lot of stuff when it comes to quality has to be compromised in order to give the best possible show they could do. Now, for anybody that kind of went, oh, well, I could have done better, well, you weren't in the finals. So that's the thing. Don't complain about stuff that you are not experiencing. There's a lot of pressure with events like this, and as well with the limited mastery they had. Also, with the extent of not really knowing this type of thing that was being delivered, it does mean for a very nervous time. And especially with because this is Alliance Wars, do bear in mind, they're literally creating a mini Alliance Wars tournament. It's not nice. It's not a nice time. Also, it does come about from one of the worst months Kabam have had with this game for functionality, from dropped inputs, connection problems, and just the weirdest AI that I think I've ever encountered, especially in this month. Other months have been fine. This month has been trash for it. So I really cannot wait for next week's update to address and hopefully reboot the extent of the problems we've seen in game. And if you're thinking to yourself, no, everything's fine with the game, do bear in mind in that particular semi-final, there was the SP3 throne and yellow blob problem. So yeah, do bear in mind that. I absolutely cannot stand this. So throw an SP3 and the yellow blob, like the orb. Like, I don't know, there's some really weird stuff going on with the game at the moment. But in any case, massive congratulations to Happy McMuffins, or as we refer to the name in the UK as, Erected Boobies. Many congrats again, you did an amazing job, and looking forward to seeing what more of the Summoner Showdown we can see in next week's, which will either be Europe or it will be Asia and Oceania. Okay, folks, okay, I didn't want to talk about it, but I'm going to have to talk about it, and that is the voting. So from this particular tweet, by the way, I'm not too happy with this tweet going out, and I think it's just based on I would have preferred it to be Just announce it when it's done, rather than kind of putting any kind of sway. Saying Hercules is in the current lead, and by the way, if they put a Mega Sentinel is currently in the lead, I wouldn't be happy with that either. It's a case of going like, if there are still people out there to vote, do not sway the vote to go, okay, well, if I vote for a Mega Sentinel, then what will that will basically mean that it's not worth anything because it looks like Hercules is gonna win. So that's the thing. I'm still a little bit annoyed about this being put out, as I do feel it comes at the wrong time. Just announce it when it's winning, when it's won, not winning, won. And Gabriel Fazera has said that normally, as you'd vote for a Mega Sentinel, it kind of gives the impression that this champion is already in the works. So, and I would say that it doesn't. Same thing with the other tweet. I don't know if this works towards the sway too much, but you know, Maladar's got a good point. Put both in then. Put one as a summoner choice month and put both champions in. That seems pretty cool. That's meeting it in the middle. But also there's a lot of discrepancies as to like, well, what happened to people? What swayed people? That's going to be a key thing as well. November 18th is when this sample vote went out. 39% went for a Mega Sentinel, 35% towards Hercules. So what happened to that 19 and 7% once these two had got through? Did they then jump on the Hercules bandwagon rather than the Mega Sentinel bandwagon? If you were a fan of Ironheart, and I would say that you'd probably be best off going onto a Mega Sentinel. Morbius, a bit of a difficult one based on what would be things that would tick about both characters, and I would say that, you know, that would be more of a half thing and going one to the other, but that's just an assumption. I would say that the thing that really got me a bit confused, not confused, but a little bit frustrated again, was the way that the abilities are being presented. It seems that Kabam had more of an idea of where they're going to be taking Hercules as opposed to a Mega Sentinel. It'd be interesting from an unbiased perspective for those that, you know, maybe didn't vote or kind of thinking about voting, is which character do you feel has been sold to you the best? And like for me, I do feel that the character sold to me the best if I was a player or, you know, just coming into this for the first time, I would feel Hercules has been sold to me better than a Mega Sentinel. But I don't know, thoughts in the comment section about that. Do you feel that Hercules has been presented better as opposed to a Mega Sentinel from this section here? And would you have said that this is the sway, this kind of like top two here? And again, like I said, I don't care who wins. It's just interesting to know how one particular character has been sold better than the other. We now briefly turn our attention to Art Corner. Got a couple of pieces in Art Corner. This is pretty cool. This is done by Grunkle Fool. And I don't know if it's Fool, changed his name to Grunkle Fool, but anyways, whatever. So this is like Merry Christmas. It's got Spider-Man and Daredevil with some antlers, I want to say. Saying, I hate this, and Spider-Man's like, shut up. Also, this is done by not the official Otriux from Art Corner. This is a Professor X. I love the way this is done, especially from the way that Cerebro helmet has been detailed in. It's very, very impressive. Nice work there, and I look forward to doing Art Corner next week. Yeah, make sure to put the submissions in Art Corner if you have any. If not, we'll be looking around to see if there's anything from the community, submit stuff and all that. And yeah, thank you very much for watching this edition of Marvel Contest of Champions News for Friday. There's a lot of content dropping today. There's information about next month. It's important to watch it. Go and check it out. It drops later on today after a lot of the Cyber Weekend stuff. So yeah, check out some content recently put here, and I'll see you all very soon. Bye-bye.